Hello everyone, welcome to the 16x model evaluation stream. If you are new here, we do model evaluation on new models, and specifically we do coding evaluation, and we've done a lot of models already, and today we have the new Kimi K2 model. So this model just dropped a few days ago, and I think it's a incremental improvement over the old 0711 model. So this is the new 0905 model. It's a newer version of the older model, and I don't think it's like a completely new model, but it does perform better on all the benchmarks, so we're gonna test it out on our own benchmark. Yeah, so that's the new model Kimi K2 0905 that we'll be testing today. And let me go over the evaluation methodologies. So for all the evaluations we do on 16x, we will use the default parameters. That means we use the default parameter for reasoning, for verbosity, for temperature, unless the model creator has specifically specified that we need to use a different parameter for coding. For example, I think DeepSeek has a special instruction for coding, so we use that. Other than that, we'll use the default parameters. And in terms of how we do the evaluations, for each task, we have 7 tasks, and for each task, we will have some rubrics, so something like this to tell us how we do the evaluation. And a human evaluator, myself, will assign the rating for each model response, and that's how we get the final rating for each model. Some tasks will give 2 tries because of the variance in output and rating, but some other tasks, simpler tasks, will just give each model 1 try. So that's the evaluation methodology. We have 7 evaluation tasks in our evaluation set, and these tasks are curated by myself based on real-world coding tasks that are encountered. So basically these are all real-world tasks that I packaged into a evaluation task. Yeah, excuse me, I think my nose is having some problem. Alright, so without further ado, let's get started. We will look at the first task, which is Tailwind CSS v3 z-index. I think my nose is not working, give me 1 second. Alright, okay, we're back. Sorry for the issue. I think there's something stuck in my nose. So the first task will be Tailwind CSS v3 z-index. So this is gonna be a bug fix. Let me just run the evaluation first and then we'll talk about it. So this is my app for running the evaluation, and I just made the evaluation a bit easier. So if I run the evaluation now, it's gonna run in the background instead of running on the foreground, so I can still look at other things. So yeah, sorry, but I think my nose is not working today. It's like very itchy for some reason. Okay, so let's look at what this task do. So if you look at the full prompt, this is basically asking the model to identify the bug in the code and fix it. So this is a HTML file that has some rendering problems because of a invalid z index. So this particular z60 is actually a invalid z index class, because in Tailwind version 3, which we specify here, it only supports up to 50, right? It doesn't support z60, so that's gonna cause a bug in terms of rendering. So I think for this task, all the top models were able to identify the bug and fix it, so they get a very high score, like 9.25. And then on the bottom, we have all the open source models who can't actually identify the bug. So let's see how well our Kimi K2 do. So yeah, so this looks like it actually didn't identify the problem. So yeah, so basically I think it didn't identify the problem, and I'm gonna still record the answer here, just in case. Yeah, I don't think this fixed the problem, so it's gonna get a 1 out of 10 for this task. Let's try that again. I think this task we will give each model 2 tries. Let me see the evaluation criteria. Yes, each model is given 2 tries. So let's try it one more time. Yeah, so our script also tells us that the model didn't identify the bug. Okay, so the second evaluation has finished. I think this is also wrong, so yeah, so I don't think the new model did better for this task. I mean, let's look at the overall performance here. So we have the new Kimi K2 0905, and this is the old Kimi K2. I guess I should rename this model to something else, since now we have 2 models. I'm just gonna rename this to 0711. Yep. So we have the rating here. So for the first task, it's still the same, 1. So that's the first task. Because this is not a reasoning model, so it's gonna this evaluation is gonna be quite fast. For the second task, we have the clean Markdown. Let me again run the evaluation. So this is a task that tests the model's ability to write TypeScript function that cleans the Markdown file. So basically, we have a we ask the model to implement a clean Markdown function in TypeScript that follows the following rules. So basically, convert a Markdown file into a plain text. So like this is the sample input, which is the Markdown file with different components, and then the expected output. it's just like this, a plain text file. So yeah, most of the models are able to get this correct. So let's see the Kimi K2. Okay, so this is the output. I'm gonna copy this to my raw data project and then run my script there to check if it produced the desired output, right? So I have Kimi K2 0905.ts. So this is the file. I'm gonna run the command. Okay, so there's one mismatch. So basically there's some additional new lines here. That's a minor bug. Okay, so that's gonna be one minor bug. I think it's gonna cost it yeah, it's gonna cost it to get a 8.5 instead of 9, so that's gonna be 8.5 for this task. Each model for this task only get one try, so that's it. So we can see it's actually slightly lower than the previous task, than the previous version 0711. So I mean, this could be a regression or it could just be a variance, right? So we don't know for sure, because for this task I only gave the model one try. Okay, so that's for the clean markdown task. We get a lower score than the previous one, so that's quite interesting. Now we move on to the harder version, which is clean MDX. So clean MDX is a harder version of clean markdown. Let me run the evaluation. So basically it's quite similar to the clean markdown, but it just have more rules, and the sample input is a bit more tricky with all the import and the nested MDX components, so it's a bit harder to clean. You can see the top model is actually group 4 and then followed by other models which get 8. So this is considerably harder, so not many models get this 100% right. So you can see a lot of models are struggling to get this right. Let's see how well Kimi K2 does, right? Oh, these are the 2 test runs I did this afternoon, so let me just delete them. Okay, so we got a very short code. I don't think this is gonna be I don't think this is gonna work like 100%, but let's try. Kimi K2 0905-1. Okay, so you can see there's a lot of differences. Okay, so that's pretty bad. That is actually pretty bad. So we have the import statement still not cleaned up. We have the component, and it looks like some text got removed. So that's pretty bad. Yeah, that's actually pretty bad. So let's give it a score. So we have text remove, and we have leftover import and component, and we also have a issue with new line, right? Actually, we don't have an issue with new lines, so that's good. Yeah, we don't have an issue with new lines. So all the new lines are correct. Only the text was removed. So that will be 8 minus 0.5 and minus 0.5. That will be 7 out of 10. Okay, it's still a okay rating. not the worst. Okay, in fact, it's actually the same as the previous model here. So let's try this again to see how well it does. Because for this task, each model is given 2 tries. Yeah, each model is given 2 tries for this task. Yeah, so while we're waiting, actually, because now we're running in parallel, so I can run the next task. Okay, so it's already finished, so we don't have to do that. Let's see. Again, this is, yeah, because it's not a reasoning model, so it just spit out the code like this. I don't think it's gonna be a very good solution, but let's try. Usually this task you can't just use regex. I think regex doesn't work very well for this task. Yeah, we can see again it has 46 divs. The previous one also has 46 divs. Okay, so it's actually quite similar. Let me see if the code are exactly the same. Okay, the code is actually not exactly the same, but the answer is almost exactly the same. So this one also get a 7. I'll get a 7 out of 10 for the same reason as the previous attempt. So both attempts got 7 out of 10, exactly the same as the previous model. No change there. No change there. Okay. Let me remove the DeepSeek v3.1 so we can see more clearly the difference. Okay, so let's move on to the next task, which is benchmark visualization. Let me try to run it. Okay, so for benchmark visualization, we'll just give the model a task to generate a visualization based on 2 benchmarks. So we have the Either Polyglot and K-Core's LM Arena. So these are 2 benchmarks. We provide some technical requirement and the raw data. So the model is expected to use this raw data and then generate a visualization, right? So this is testing the model's visualization capability and general front-end skills. So we can see all the historical benchmarks that different models have generated. So some are considerably better. I think this one is pretty good by Kimi K2 last time. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing how well Kimi K2 does this time around. Yeah, I think Kimi K2 is actually the top model for this task, tying with Sonnet and Opus, I think. Yeah, so Kimi K2 previously did pretty well for this task. Let's see how well it does this time. So we have the HTML file here. Let me copy this to project. Oh wait, this is not a complete response, right? It looks like the response got cut off. Okay, so that's unfortunate. That's a bit strange, but I'll give it another try. Maybe it's a bug or something. Yeah, you can see the code is clearly cut off. Yeah, so I guess I won't count this one. don't think I've seen this kind of errors before. I'm not sure what's happening with the model. Don't think it's an error, it's just the model decided to stop right there for whatever reason. See, the speed is for this model is quite slow. It's 13 tokens a second last time. I think this time it was also 13 tokens per second. It's quite slow, but luckily it's not a thinking model, so it won't be waiting for very long. I think I can run the next task while we're waiting here. Let me just do that. Now I can run this in async way, so I can just run all the tasks. Okay, so we have the result, the second output. Let me see if it's still cut off. Oh, it's still cut off. Okay, that's a shame because it used to do very well for this task, but now it seems like it cannot produce full output. Let me see if it's getting cut off at a particular token count. 1024. It's getting cut off at 1024 tokens. 1024 tokens. I don't think this would affect it because this is for Anthropic, and I didn't have this problem last time. I'm not sure what Moonshot AI has done, but the response seems to be getting cut off at 1024 tokens. I think it has to be a bug, right? It has to be a bug at this time. That's unfortunate. What happened here? I don't think it's the default. I don't think the default output limit should be 1028. That would be too short, right? Oh shit, we did have a default limit 1028. That makes it useless, right? That makes it useless. Yeah, I think so. That makes it quite useless. We have to set a max token for this particular model. Okay, how do we do that? Let me think. This is unexpected, so I have to update my app in real time to support this weird max token limit. Okay, let's see. Let me check if my library supports it first. I think my library supports it. Okay, this is a bit of detour. Anyway, I think I have support for max token. This is for Anthropic. Let me see. Wait, why is everything Anthropic? This is Open Router. This is custom. We have temperature support. But we don't have max token support. Okay. Why would you have a default max token at 1024? That doesn't make any sense. That's too short. That's too short for coding. Okay. How do we do this? Let me see. I think OpenRouter has this model. Okay, so I don't think I have support for max token for open routers. Yeah, previously only Anthropic requires max tokens. So yeah, I don't think I can I don't think I can test this model anymore because I don't support this weird configuration for max tokens. Usually, I think providers have a more generous max token, not 1024. This is not enough. So I can do a hack to get around this limit, I think. Let me think. Yeah, I can do a hack on this. I can just add a max tokens here. Maybe we call it custom max tokens. And then I'm gonna go to custom and then add the max tokens here, right? So similar to the Anthropic max tokens. Okay, so it's somewhere here. Custom max tokens. So we add here. So if custom max tokens is not undefined, we send the max token. Oh, not here. Actually, it shouldn't be here. It should be here instead. Okay, so we have the create params here that is used for both both cases. Yeah, okay. I think this should work. Let me run my test. Now this is gonna take a while. I didn't expect Kimi K2 to set the max token. I don't think this was there when I did my previous evaluation, so definitely something new here. 1024. Previously it was probably higher. So I did this in July, and I was able to get about 2,000 tokens without any issue. Okay, most of the tests passed. Yeah, Azure's test has been failing for a while because I deleted my instance. That's why it's always failing. Let me just skip all of them. Okay, so this should work. I'll update the README later, but just gonna publish a new version. Okay, so now this is published. I need to go back to my app and do some clever hacks to make this work. Okay, my computer is lagging crazy. So I have my, where's my SAM prompt? Okay, here. Okay, my computer is like very slow. Not sure why. Turn this off. Close this. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is so if we are at a custom provider, let's see, right? We need to find out if we're sending to what do you call that? Moonshot AI. So where is that from? Let me check. Then from option. Okay, so let's check option dot base URL. Wait, where is the base URL? Provider options. Okay, so provider option dot. Wait, where is the base URL here? Why can't I find the base URL? Oh, it's here. Option dot base URL. So it should be here. Why is it not here? Okay, so I think what's happening here is yeah, okay, I think I know what to do here. So let custom max token number undefined equals to undefined. So we set this here, and then if we have the custom provider, and if the option dot base URL equals to, I can't believe I need to do this, but quite interesting. Let's see. So the base URL is like this. So if base URL is like this, we set the custom max token equal to like this, and then we set the max token here. So just to be safe, we'll need to set it to undefined if it doesn't exist. So we'll do this. And then we add some console log here so that we know. Okay, so I think this should work. Spend about 10 minutes trying to fix this. Okay, what is happening? Alright, so we're back here. Let's try this again. Okay, we have the correct set custom max token here. So this time it should work. I can't believe I have to do this, but interesting. Okay. So we can now continue our testing, right? Let me delete all this incomplete response. Okay. I think I sent it for the next task as well. So let me check. Okay, so the next task is already completed. To make up some speed, let me send for the next task as well, so that we can get back to speed. So I'm gonna send for this task as well, thanks to my new feature that allow me to send multiple evaluations at once. So I'm gonna send for all the remaining tasks. Okay, so I've just sent for all the remaining tasks. So let's go back to benchmark visualization. So this time around, we should have the complete code. Wait, it's still not complete. What? Did my fix not affect it? It still start at 1024. Wait a second. Messages model max token. Oh shit. I made a mistake. I made a mistake here. It's not this max token, it's this. Okay. I see what's going on here. Okay, interesting. Typo here, so let me increment the version number. Yeah, it's usually because of typo. Okay, get back to here, increase this, close this, start again. Okay, so this time it should work, hopefully. Okay. I think because my computer is too slow, the build is actually failing due to some weird risk conditions, but no matter. Okay, so now this time it should work. I'm definitely need to add a note for this model that you need to set the max tokens. Doesn't usually happen, but yeah, this is too low. Let me add a note here. Increase to something more reasonable, like 4096, something like that. Not enough for coding tasks. Okay, so that's the note. Okay, so this time around it's taking a lot longer. That means it's probably closer to what we want. Let's see. Okay, so we have 1205 tokens. That's more than 1024. So hopefully we get a full code. Yes, we got a full code. Nice. Let's see. So we overcome the challenge and we managed to make it work. Let's open up the validation. Okay, so looks like there's a bug somehow, like nothing is showing up. And there's no errors. That's a little bit strange. Let me do some debugging here. So we have some data here, but nothing is showing up. Okay, so this is quite interesting. Because I have a policy that if the model doesn't render, I'll give it another try. So I'll give it another try. So the previous one is technical issue, and this one is the second try for the model because it didn't actually render anything. Yeah, so I'm gonna make a note here as well. This is quite strange. First try of the benchmark visualization did not render the chart. I mean render the empty chart, right? It's an empty chart. Hello, hi. Nice to meet you. We have some difficulty running this model, apparently. So if you are new here, we discovered that the default max token for Kimi K2 is only 1024. So that's not enough for any coding task, so you need to increase this. This wasn't an issue for the previous token, but somehow it is an issue for this token. If you are using the official API, that is very strange. Okay, let me delete the old one. And okay, so this is the latest one. Let's try this one. Okay, so this is the first try, which didn't work. Let's give it a second try. And if this still doesn't work, then I'll have to give it a very bad score, unfortunately. Okay, so this time it worked. Okay, nice. Whew. Okay, cool. So yeah, so this is basically exactly what the Kimi K2 0711 generator. You can see I got the old generation here, and this is the new generation. Almost exactly the same. I think actually the old one looks slightly better because of the color choice, I think. Yeah, I definitely think the old one looks better aesthetically. So let's think about how to rate this, right? It's gonna get a 8.5 for basic score. We don't have labels. We have side by side and alternative benchmark, so that's gonna be 9. We have side by side, no labels. Alternative way to differentiate benchmarks. I would think this is still visually pleasing, though I don't really like the color as much as the old one. So that would be 8.5 plus 0.5, that's 9, and plus 0.25, that's 9.25. Okay, so you got the, I think also the highest rating. Yeah, so basically it's the same, it's a tie with the previous version. It's basically a tie with the previous version, so for this task, yeah. Yes, the same score for this task. Okay, so after a bit of drama, so let's move on to the next task, which is older watch fix. Let's check how well this time it did. This is a quite simple task, basically asking the model to implement the feature inside a TypeScript file. It's a very long file, so the model is supposed to figure out where to add that feature. Yeah, so let's see the output. Okay, so it did get both of these correct, so that's good. I think the response is also quite concise. In terms of characters, 1725 is compared to the best ones. I wouldn't say it's very concise. Yeah, it's not very concise, but not verbose as well. So it's reasonably concise, right? So it's not gonna get penalty or get extra rating. So 9 and extra logic, 9.25. Yeah, 9.25. Okay, so again, it's the same score as the previous model, so no difference for this task. 9.25. Next we have the TypeScript narrowing, which is a uncommon task. So last time, let's see the last time score. Last time Kimi K2 got a 1, which means that it didn't solve the task. I'll give a wrong solution. So let's see how well it does this time. For this task, each model is given 2 tries. Right? So this is the first try. Okay, this is a bit weird. I don't think I've seen this kind of solutions for this task. It doesn't look very correct, but let's try it out. So Kimi K2 05, yes, this is the first try. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna work, right? I don't think it's gonna work. Yeah, it didn't work. It didn't compile, so this is go straight to 1. Okay, but each model is given 2 tries, so let's try it again. If you're new here, we're testing the new Kimi K2 0905 against the old model as well as other models. So far it looks like exactly the same performance across the board, except for one task where it did slightly worse. It's a little bit concerning. Okay, so this looks like the same fix as the previous one. Let's see how well it does. Let's see if this works. Okay, failed again. Yeah, so definitely didn't work. Let's try it. Just running it. Yeah, didn't work. Okay, so definitely failed again. no improvement here, wrong solution. Get a 1 out of 10 for this task. Let's move on to the last one, which is the Next.js feature. So this is a simple task that tests the model's instruction following capabilities on whether it can produce a concise result. I actually wrote a JavaScript automatic evaluation script that ultimately evaluates the response. And it's telling me to give this model 0.5. I'm not sure why. Maybe there's some bug. Greater add default now. This looks correct to me. Why would my automatic evaluation give this a 0.5? Looks correct to me. So my evaluation function must have some error here. That's a little bit interesting. Maybe I have a bug in my evaluation code. Let me take a look at my evaluation code. So if it has timestamp, and if it has created add, so there it is. If it has two locale string. Oh, okay, I see the problem. So it's using two ISO string instead of the two locale string. Okay, let's see. Date.now dot to ISO string. Wait. Okay, I think I should use new date, not date.now. Yeah, new date dot to ISO string. I guess it works. Not the best, but not the best. Definitely not best. Let me think, how do I rate this? So the prompt is to add the creator add field, right? And if I use the iOS ISO string, then it's not very user friendly. So I think it's gonna hurt the response, right? So I have to update the rubrics for this task again. So if response.includes ISO string, then our ISO string would equal to true. Else if, okay, that's too much. Okay, so we'll just give a negative 0.5 penalty for using the ISO string, right? I think 0.5 is good enough. 0.25, yeah, let's do a 0.25. Okay. Minus 0.25. Use ISO format for display, minus 0.25, yeah. Okay, so that's the updated rubrics. Let me update the rubrics for this task. This is the first time I'm seeing a model that does this. So I'm also gonna update the this one. I think it doesn't affect any other rating, but it will affect this one. Wait, why is 9.25? Oh yeah, it's correct. It should be 9.25 because it's very concise, right? It's very concise, but use our ISO for display time, so that's 9.25 instead of 9.5. Is it better than the previous attempt? Yeah, I think so, right? It's better than the previous attempt. Yeah, so the previous attempt, it was outputting full code, but this time it's just outputting the required code, which is better. So at least for this task, it shows some improvements, right? So overall, you can see we have completed all the tasks. So this is the final summary. Compared to the old 0711, almost all the tasks are exactly the same score except for clean Markdown, where it had some minor issue. Could be due to the variance in the output, but it's worse. Let me see if I gave it the correct scoring. Short code, that is correct, yes. Okay, so it's not correct, so I wouldn't need to give it the extra rating for the short code. For this task though, it did better than the previous model, so yeah, I think overall it's just a very minor improvement, nothing very critical. I don't think it changes a lot of things in terms of the model performance, at least on my benchmark or on my evaluation. Yeah, so yeah, there you have it. That's the testing for Kimi K2 0905. Not a big jump here. In fact, it's still worse than GLM 4.5 and Quantry Coder, so it's still behind these two models, and it's behind GPT-OSS. Okay, that's all for the stream. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next stream. Bye.